Hello everyone, this is HGJ Halloween, and today I am back with another exciting video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than the videos you guys have been seeing pretty consistently in the past, I would say 4 weeks or so. I know I've been uploading about 3 prop videos during the weekdays, and then 2 other videos, either builds or concept arts during the weekends. If you guys haven't noticed that pattern, that's what I've been doing because I don't have a lot of time to be filming a bunch of different videos during school, so I had a lot of pre-filmed prop videos that I was releasing during school days, and so I actually have run out of those. The Creepy Rising Doll was the last new prop I am probably getting this year, definitely 100% actually. I know a lot of you guys have been recommending that I get Campfire Zombie or Hay Bale Popper, a lot of other things, but I don't want to overload it with new props this year. I gotta have some room for improvement next year, so that is going to be the last prop I'm getting this year. But today's video is going to be a little bit different actually, because it's not 100% about Halloween. It kind of is, but it's actually going to be about this pumpkin. If you guys follow me on Instagram, then you've probably already seen pictures of this pumpkin. If you don't follow me on Instagram, then go ahead and search me up at HTJ_Halloween, or go ahead and click the link at the top of the description. But today is kind of gonna be, I figured I wanted to make a video on this pumpkin because I also bought these hay bales today, and this is kind of about the cabin basically. A lot of you guys know that the only things going into the cabin are Limb Ripper is the only animatronic, and then that static guy that I'm gonna kind of create in the bed that his limb got ripped off. Well, if you've seen the videos last year, it is a pretty big thing that we're using. It was the bedroom last year, this year it's the cabin. It's a pretty big space that I don't think Limb Ripper and this bed are going to fill up. So one idea that I have talked to you guys about is that I'm going to have in the very right a fireplace with those 2 flame lights in it. I've also posted pictures of the flame lights on my Instagram, as well as the hanging flame lights that are gonna be outside. There's gonna be a ton of detail thrown into this display. I'm super excited to start getting it set up, but it won't be setting up until, you know, the last week of October, since it is outside. But aside from that, I also wanted to put something in the left hand side. So we were actually at Wegmans today. You guys may not know what that is, but it's just a grocery store, and they had these hay bales. Now last year I did have these huge hay bales that were in front of our porch that we put our jack-o'-lanterns on, and I will be doing that this year too. But I didn't want to have to buy, that'd be like 5 giant hay bales when I don't really need that many hay bales. I wanted to have quite a few hay bales in the cabin, but if they were huge, then I wouldn't be able to get a lot of them. And last year they only had like 2 hay bales left, and we snagged the last 2. So I don't want it to come down to the wire again like that. So I saw these pretty small hay bales, but they'll be absolutely perfect in the left-hand side of the cabin. So what it's gonna be like, instead of how it was exactly in the concept art, is the Limb Ripper and the bed are going to be kind of moved towards the inner side and towards the middle, whereas at the right there's going to be the fireplace, and at the left it's going to be these hay bales. So these hay bales are going to be stacked pretty much in this order. They still have the plastic wrap around them, and I'm not going to take that off so they don't make too much of a mess. They're going to be stacked like this. It's going to be 2 and then 1 sort of sideways. Now I know it's a little bit weird to have hay bales inside of a building, but I think it's gonna look fine anyways, and I just needed something to fill it. And then right on top of this hay bale is the reason I'm making this video, the Cinderella pumpkin. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys around back and show you this Cinderella pumpkin. It's really kind of cool actually, because we're literally home growing our decorations. It's pretty sick. And so I'm gonna go ahead around back and show you guys that right now. Alright guys, so I am now in our garden. Although I have been doing this garden and maintaining it for probably as long as I've been doing the Halloween stuff, I've never had a reason to actually show it to you guys because it never had anything to do with Halloween. However, I have grown 1 jack-o'-lantern before, but that was before I had the channel, so I didn't make a video on it. And it turned out pretty cool, but this is not a jack-o'-lantern. This is a Cinderella pumpkin. That's what it is known as. They do sell these in different places. You've probably seen one before. It's a more wide pumpkin, and it is decorative. It's also edible, but it's not really one that you normally see carved. So that is what is going to be going into the cabin. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys it here. Since I posted the picture of it when it actually got bigger on my Instagram, it has even gotten a lot bigger since then. So if you take a look at it here, it's this beautiful yellow pumpkin. The reason it's called a Cinderella pumpkin is because it looks like Cinderella's carriage, or I think that is the pumpkin that was that was based off of, that the carriage was based off of, is Cinderella pumpkins. This big, wide, reddish orange pumpkin. Now, jack-o'-lanterns start green, so this might be confusing those of you that have ever gone to a pumpkin patch and seen green pumpkins before they're ripe. That is how jack-o'-lanterns start, but Cinderella pumpkins are under a different family of pumpkin, and so they do start out yellow like this one. So it still has a while to go. As you can see, it is 100% a nice smooth yellow. It doesn't have any red or orange on it yet, and the reason it has this little shade thing on it is to protect it from direct sunlight. You can see here, I will explain what ate this leaf away a little bit later. You guys might know about it if you have seen my most recent post of the pumpkin. We had a couple groundhogs that were coming in here and doing some dirty work. But this, I attached to this leaf here, and it's draped down because when the sun comes around and comes here as it sets, it was giving this side of the pumpkin direct sunlight. And when a pumpkin gets direct sunlight, or any fruit for that matter, it tends to ripen quicker. So it needs a little bit more shade, a little bit more water in order to ensure that it's going to get as big as it possibly can before it ripens. So that's why I have this shade thing on it. That will most likely come off in the next couple of weeks when it's about the optimal size. But I mean, honestly, I am so happy. This is the biggest pumpkin I have ever grown. Although it is not a jack-o'-lantern, it's a different variety than the other ones I've grown, but it is the biggest pumpkin I've ever grown. And just look how beautiful it looks, guys. It's amazing. I love growing things at home, especially pumpkins. Pumpkins are really fun. If you guys want to start a garden, grow pumpkins. They're really cool. They are really tough to grow though, so if you have trouble, it's not my fault. They are really hard to grow. But so the thing that happened with the groundhog was, if you guys have seen my old post where I posted the picture of the pumpkin when it was a lot smaller, when it was about this big actually, I showed that there was 3 pumpkins that I had going, and they were all going very strong, and 2 of them were actually still in the flowering stage. If you guys don't know what that means, if you don't have gardens, some of you may actually be on board with this and know exactly what I'm talking about and might have gardens of your own, but if you don't have gardens or live on a farm or grow anything, a little bit of pumpkin anatomy for you. This is called a male flower, and this is what pumpkin flowers look like. They actually smell absolutely terrible. This is a male flower because you can see it just has a stem right there. So it just has a stem, and then also on the inside it has this little thing that's called the stamen, and that is basically just the male sex organ of the plant, and that has the pollen on it, and the female flowers are the ones that have the pumpkins underneath of the flower. These are some really young female flowers. You can see the flowers are still very green, but that is a baby pumpkin underneath. That is how all pumpkins start. That is how this huge guy started out, which is kind of crazy to think. And also, pumpkins grow exponentially. I mean, this thing has grown insanely fast. I think I posted the picture of it where it was this small like a week and a half ago, and look how huge it is now. It's unbelievable. I just love watching them grow. I mean, I could have even set up a time lapse out here, but then I couldn't use my GoPro to film anything else, but it would be kind of cool to see a time lapse of it growing. But that is how pumpkins start out. Once that flower blooms, the bees will go from the male flowers to the female flowers, not knowing the difference, just going around whatever's yellow, they just kind of go into it, and that would spread around the pollen, and then that would start the growth of a pumpkin. So I had 3 pumpkins going, one of which I think was going to bloom the next morning, and one of which was more like these guys, pretty small, was not quite going to bloom, and then the other one was that one, obviously, and that one was already about this big, like I've said. And we had a groundhog, or maybe a couple groundhogs, that came in here and ate those pumpkins. I did say that on my recent post. It was really unfortunate. We've had this issue with this groundhog for quite a while now. It actually has been ruining our garden this entire year. We had a watermelon plant that it ate back, pretty much destroyed that watermelon plant. We had a deer that was eating our strawberries, but that didn't have anything to do with the groundhog. And then we also had, a while ago, this plant was looking really healthy, and a groundhog came through. This was the first time I realized it was a groundhog, and had eaten back almost the entire plant. That's part of the reason that we aren't getting pumpkins until October. Luckily, in Maryland, where I live, we're having kind of a heat wave, and we're still going to be in the 80s for the next weeks, which is amazing. I don't know if like global warming or whatever, but I mean, it's been really, really hot. Normally by now it would be a little bit too late for it, so I was very blessed with the weather actually. But normally these pumpkins would be being harvested right now, and then you save them until October 31st. But that groundhog ate this entire thing back, so then I put a trap out the next day, and this is what this is. I have lettuce leading into it and strawberries. I had some corn in that one too. And we caught that groundhog, and we actually hand removed it and put it in a wheelbarrow and walked 2 miles to relocate it. Normally you're supposed to put it in your car and drive away, but my mom was worried about it jumping out of the car or something like that, so we didn't do that, and we didn't really know how far to take it. So I don't know if 2 miles was far enough, but we had a groundhog come back here and eat more of the plant and eat our pumpkins away. Now, I don't know if it was the same groundhog, but my mom saw the groundhog in here yesterday, and it ran in behind the shed. So we're thinking that there's a hole back there, that it might even be part of its family. But since the day that it actually ate away those pumpkins and ate a bunch of the plant again, I've had this trap ever since then, and it has yet to come back and actually eat the plant or go into the trap. The trap is here almost as a sort of protection, because it will be more interested in the scent of the strawberries in the trap than the pumpkin, so it kind of protects it. At this point, though, the pumpkin is so huge that it wouldn't even be interested in biting it. It has a really, really thick skin now, but back at that point, it was very susceptible to getting eaten. Luckily, this one was just big enough that the groundhog couldn't really fit its mouth around it, although it did sort of scratch it up. I don't know if you guys saw, but it does have these scratches on the side here from the groundhog. So that's what happened, and I will probably only be doing this one pumpkin. I might be doing 2. Don't quote me for that, because I might be allowing this one to grow as well, just because it's kind of sad to cut them out. We are going to have a long time of like 70 degree, 80 degree weather, so it might have enough time to do that other pumpkin, but the main thing is that it's kind of a time constraint, and I don't want these other pumpkins to start growing, make this one not get as big, and then end up not even getting big at all because it becomes cold and October hits and it's going to get 60s, and this disease here is called powdery mildew, which I am going to spray something on it today, but that's going to start spreading, and so I don't know how much time this plant has. But that's basically the summary of the story here. We do have one beautiful pumpkin going on, and this pumpkin you guys are going to see as decoration on top of those hay bales that I showed you before in the cabin. So it's pretty crazy that we're home growing our own pumpkins and decorations. Pumpkins are really, really fun to grow, but they are really, really hard to grow, so I don't necessarily recommend them as your very first plant. But anyways, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like I said, let me know if you guys have a garden of your own, or if you do enjoy this kind of video. I would be totally down to make another update on how big the pumpkin is, or let you guys know if I started growing this one by next weekend, because trust me, these things grow so fast. Like I said, I mean, in the next week, it will be huge. Trust me, they grow so quick. It'll be a big difference in a week. So I'd definitely be down to make another video of this, as long as you guys enjoy seeing these videos. I know it's a little bit different. It's not Spirit Halloween related, but it is technically Halloween related. So anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, my schedule is going to be a little bit off for the next couple of days, but follow me on Instagram so you can get daily updates. I do post daily over on my Instagram. And just stay subscribed, because the build videos are going to be coming out. A lot of times the build videos come out very quickly next to each other, but I'll try to spread them out and try to do what I can. But like I said, October 5th or 4th is when we are starting to actually put together the haunted house. So you can expect some crazy videos coming in the next week or so, all right? So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace out.